6 men and a teenage girl were killed by Russian soldiers in April during the occupation of the village of Pravdine in the Kherson region. This was reported by the Prosecutor General's Office of Ukraine. According to law enforcement officers, all were shot. To hide the traces, Russian soldiers blew up the house where the killed were located, and for more than a month, local residents were not allowed to bury the bodies. After the deoccupation, Ukrainian law enforcement officers conducted an exhumation. The bodies of the victims had traces of violent death. 2 of them had a rope on their wrists. The New York Times journalists wrote about another crime committed by the Russians.
He begged the Russian soldiers to allow him to bury the dead. They refused. So many people had fled the village that abandoned dogs roamed the roads. They found the bodies and began ripping them apart. Mr. Sikoza begged again. Finally, after 5 weeks, the soldiers allowed him to prepare a grave for 6 of the security guards. He could not find the body of the 7th, and the young woman's family buried her separately. Anatoly Sikoza, resident of the village of Pravdine, in an interview with the New York Times.
Similar burials of Ukrainians killed by the Russians are found in all settlements that were previously under occupation. Law enforcement officers collect eyewitness accounts, record facts, and conduct examinations. Most of those buried are civilians. Even after the liberation of settlements from the Russian occupiers, the civilian population is subjected to shelling. After the deoccupation of Kherson, Russian aviation continues to strike the city. One of them happened on November 24th.
A lot of dust, and in general you can't see anything at all, you can't understand what is going on. I hid with my son in the bathroom and I heard dad screaming under the windows. Lilia, call an ambulance because mom is wounded, and I can't call an ambulance because the connection is jammed. I went outside with a child and saw my mother lying in the 3rd entrance. She was upside down, covered in blood.
War crimes is one of the methods traditionally used by the Russian army. Torture of prisoners of war, killing civilians, destroying civilian and critical infrastructure. All this is prohibited by humanitarian law. According to the Geneva Conventions, which spell out all options for war crimes, such actions are a violation of the laws and customs of war.
Kherson may repeat the fate of Mariupol, and now we need to evacuate as many people as possible, because there will be shelling.
Thousands of fragments of Russian missiles, cluster bombs, shells were collected by investigators for the entire period of shelling of Kharkiv starting from February 24th. Hospitals, schools, museums, apartment buildings, private and state-owned enterprises that have nothing to do with military infrastructure were under the explosions of these shells. All of this is now evidence.
The remnants of ammunition are sufficient evidence, since it records Russia's use of the weapons that are on its balance sheet, which it uses against Ukraine.
In total, more than 5,000 facts of war crimes committed by the Russian army have already been registered in Kharkiv and the region. In all other deoccupied Ukrainian territories, law enforcement officers continue to collect evidence. In order to investigate them and punish those responsible, the European Union, with the support of the UN, advocates the creation of a specialized court.
We are ready to start working with the international community to get the broadest international support possible for this specialized court. Russia must also pay financially for the devastation that it caused. The damage suffered by Ukraine is estimated at 600 billion euros.
According to the President of the European Commission, Russia must pay full compensation for all the damage caused to Ukraine. To do this, it is necessary to develop special regulatory documents. Then Russia's crimes will not go unpunished. Reported by Serhiy Kulyas, Natalia Husak, UATV News.